where my billionaires at? Let's buy, where my billionaires at? All this land, federal land for sale. Let's try an experiment. Let's see if people can live wildly again. The indigenous, let's just say for the purposes of this conversation, the Dene way of life, or like the Navajo, migrating with the seasons, not unique to them alone. Why don't we give that a try? Why don't we build solar buildings on one end, build with the land? All people have researched this. They've done the reading. Migrate, follow the herds, hunt. Sounds fucking wild, but no leaders, no wild ideas. I am fully inclined to follow the law of the United States of America. But what's up, billionaires? You want to change the world? Instead of it's already overcomplicated. But what about simplifying things, getting back to how we evolved for hundreds of thousands of years? And of course, this is call it a pipe dream, sure, whatever, I don't care. But why not? You're building on what's already been built. You're getting more and more data and information into tinier and tinier chains of molecules and digits. Why not work with what we've always had, with what's right in front of us, the way that our brains and bodies adapted to do within tribe. And I think what everybody is most afraid of is, like I don't want to join a cult. I mean, we've all been programmed to be so afraid of anything that sounds like this. And sure, good reason, I've seen the documentaries for good reason. So, I think the primary question is I think the most primary question is building fail-safes, or just constructing it from the ground, doing whatever needs to be done to prevent those systems of power from any one person holding sway like that, any cult of personalities, just to take every precaution to make sure that is impossible. Why not try that? It's not like you have to stay, you can always go back to the city, pay rent. What are we all trying to get? Like some security, the feeling of like really, really trusting and loving and wanting the best, and knowing that another wants the best for you, and trusting another. I feel that's what I want. And somewhere along the way we were told that there's only one way to do that, to have a family, a little family. The most efficient model to sell to is like a nuclear family. Maybe not the most efficient, but a efficient model, a efficient structure. I don't know. Unit to sell to is a nuclear family. Yeah, I feel like people might get mad at us, like if we are self-sustaining and just not buying into the system any more than we want to. So like, you can, but you can also do this. This is independent of all that, but you can do that on the side. I don't think it's good to tell anybody that they can't do anything. I think it's important for people to know the consequences to have a very clear cut. Like if you just focus on money your whole life and you don't you fuck people over your whole life, this is what is likely to happen to you psychologically, spiritually, mentally, physically, whatever. If you give away all your shit every time you get anything, this is what's likely to happen to you. If you kill somebody because you're angry at them, this is what's likely to happen to you. And to be held accountable and to enforce, existing laws, I guess. But yeah, But to tell anybody that, I feel like we should all be trusted. We should be able to trust one another to explore the boundaries of our comfort zones, and to trust one another to say enough is enough, or to put stop, to be like, hey, you can't do that. If you're going to be a part of our tribe, you can't do that. If you're going to look at young kids, you can't be a part of our tribe. And to trust one another to. But I feel like that's the thing, is like when all these perversions are, when everything is like, you can't follow your instincts, you can't follow your natural urge, you can't be what you evolved to be in so many other ways, then people end up doing weird shit. I feel like it makes sense. So like, why don't we get together and explore the boundaries of our comfort zone? And yeah, it might get a little weird, but to trust one another, to be like, hey, okay, this is let's look at where this is headed. Let's look at the logical conclusions of what that might turn out from this. And if you look at kids, then you're gonna die probably very violently. I'm not gonna do it, but the people who protect those kids might. I'm just saying. Okay, I don't want to focus too hard on that, but that's something that gets people all emotional. So I'm just saying, and then there's the argument like, well, let's just make sure that can never happen in the first place. Okay, how has that ever worked? Like, yeah, like we've been convinced that we were safe. We've been convinced that it could never happen to us. That's the illusion we live under. But it happens all the freaking time. I'm getting heated in the hot tub. 33, baby. On God's time. 33 on God's time. Seeing clearly now. Everything is well-defined, high vibe. I don't need to try, because ultimate faith is where I'm focused. Where I've focused my mind. One step in front of the other. Not another step in confusion. I know exactly what I'm doing. One hopes. At least I know where I'm headed. I know where I'm headed, and that's one step ahead of right now. All the rest, like all the worrying in the world, isn't going to change any of it. Deal with it when the time comes, and trust myself to do so efficiently and confidently and thoroughly. And I eliminate the need to worry by trusting every part of myself so deeply, and getting to know the parts of myself that are resistant and don't like to do that, and finding a way for us all to work together. And that's what I'd like to. I'd love everybody to be able to do this. Fucking, what's it called? Radical acceptance, radical forgiveness. Everything is forgiven. So let's start now.